The Arewa Coalition for Security and Human Rights has condemned the alleged misuse of military escorts and misconduct by Mr. Okechukwu Ayogu, a prominent Enugu-based businessman. The coalition, a platform of 12 civil rights and pro-transparency groups committed to upholding the principles of justice, fairness, and the rule of law, addressed the grave allegations, which include harassment, intimidation, abusive and illegal use of army personnel as escorts, and land grabbing. It said in a press statement, recent incidents have raised concerns about the inappropriate deployment of heavily armed army personnel for private interests, particularly in the case of Mr. Okechukwu Ayogu. The businessman has been accused of moving with an unusual high number of military personnel, creating tension and fear in the Enugu community. The coalition had earlier addressed a press conference on the issue at Arewa House, Kaduna, on Wednesday, January 17, 2024. As a follow-up to the press conference, Arewa Coalition issued a statement signed by the Secretary General, Comrade Musa Abdullahi, in which it emphasized the importance of transparency and accountability in the deployment of armed forces, advocating for responsible and judicious use aligned with established protocols and national security priorities. The coalition expressed concerns that the indiscriminate use of military escorts for private purposes not only undermines the credibility of the armed forces, but also raises questions about justice and fairness in the democratic society. Arewa Coalition underscored the belief that every citizen, regardless of status, deserves equal protection under the law. It called for the deployment of military escorts to be based on genuine security concerns rather than personal connections or affiliations, emphasizing the need to maintain public trust and preserve the reputation of the military personnel dedicated to serving and protecting the nation. While expressing confidence in the leadership of Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Taoreed Lagbaja, the coalition urged vigilance against actions that could tarnish the reputation of the armed forces. They called for a thorough and impartial investigation into the allegations against Mr. Okechukwu Ayogu, emphasizing the importance of swift and decisive action to ensure justice prevails and that no one is above the law. Arewa Coalition highlighted the broader implications of improper military deployment, stating that such actions erode public trust and compromise the rule of law. It called for a comprehensive review of protocols governing the deployment of military escorts, including an assessment of criteria and strengthened mechanisms for accountability and oversight. As advocates for the concerns and well-being of the Nigerian people, Arewa Coalition expressed their dismay at instances where trust in the armed forces is seemingly exploited for personal gain. They reassured the public that safety and security remain paramount and any actions to the contrary will be met with swift and just consequences. The coalition reiterated its commitment to the well-being and security of all citizens, calling for accountability, transparency, and justice. The coalition emphasized that addressing these concerns is part of a broader vision for a secure and just future for Nigeria. They urge collective efforts and a commitment to justice to build a society where the rights and dignity of every citizen are protected. Acknowledging Chief of Army Staff General Lagbaja for his leadership and professionalism, the coalition implored all stakeholders, including the military and relevant government agencies, to address the issue promptly and decisively. Transparency Center Network, one of the affiliates, has been asked to petition President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, Minister of Defense, National Security Advisor, Chief of Defense Staff, and the Chief of Army Staff to demand an end to these alleged infractions in which soldiers are allegedly illegally deployed for alleged land grabbing in Enugu. We want the top officers of the military to investigate the veracity of these allegations, the coalition said. From Lagos, this is Peace Umabuko, News Express, Nigerian Television.